Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel and the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel. If you are looking for a life, relationship, creativity, or entertainment coaching, please feel free to reach out. Would love to be of service to you in that way. You can also reach out on Twitter at PO Perception. This is the WCW Saturday Night Review Series for October 17th, 1992. Relative newcomer Shane Douglas is your individual here who opened the program, and Shane Douglas and Brian Pillman in singles competition is an amazing match for the time period. Amazing as they end up going on to feud for the next several months. Within a couple of months, Pillman and Austin versus Steamboat and Douglas, one of my favorite WCW feuds of all time. I know I'm weird. I like the undercard stuff more than the main event stuff. Always have. Probably always will in my 32 years of pro wrestling fandom. It's just always been that way since I was a kid, actually, except for, save for a few main eventers along the way. Hulk Hogan as a kid, Randy Savage as a kid, maybe, and Shawn Michaels run. But other than that, I've always been more inclined to the undercard talent. Anyway, Irish Whip and lots of back and forth. The kind of interesting stop spot with the arm lock. Douglas comes up. Douglas, of course, a key babyface at the time, a newfound heel in Pillman over the last couple of months. Pillman has been a babyface since coming into WCW in '89. I'm pretty sure, not familiar with his work prior to '92 terribly much in WCW, but I've seen matches and I don't ever remember seeing him heel before 1992. Up and over, block by Douglas, hip toss by Douglas. Douglas really in control, and Pillman claiming that his tights were pulled. Nowhere near that happening, but of course, as a heel, what else is he going to claim? Doesn't want to take personal responsibility. Arm bars and the like by Douglas. Douglas managing to hold on to things pretty assertively here. Irish whip and attempted takeovers, headlocks, and hammerlocks by Pillman. Pillman tries to ground down on the guy for the next several minutes. There is a dependency towards going to the outside of the ring. Meanwhile, before that happens, though, Douglas maintains control of the contest with more arm drags, arm bars, and the like, working the arm, working a body part so imperative to 1992 wrestling and before it. I wish it would return. There are MMA creative ways to do it, and it needs to be done here. Choking attempted by Pillman. Pillman tries to use every advantage he can get, arm over the bottom rope, among other things. Willing to do just about anything to win, and he shows it here. The fact that they're given almost 15 minutes in an opening segment on a Saturday night program a week before a pay-per-view says a lot about the belief that there is in the athletic conditioning of both guys and the potential push that they were going to get. Pillman misses the second rope on the inside cross body. He's not happy with that, but manages to poke his opponent in the eye. Pillman then goes to the top rope, cannot jump off the top rope as that would get him disqualified, but does get launched off with the slam from the top by Douglas. Douglas manages to ultimately get everything handled there, and side suplex, and ultimately some shots there. There is Pillman gets kind of passes out on the outside, and both guys kind of go tumbling to the outside, and referees run down and break that up. There is not really a finish to this particular contest, and I think the non-finish leads to there is a finish eventually, but meanwhile both guys go tumbling over the top rope. The match is temporarily stopped as referees and officials try to get things going there. We come back to some degree of attemptedness there. Brian Pillman being helped out by other individuals, and he, uh, there's the shot into the steel post, and that becomes an issue. Needless to say, nothing is fully finished as belly to belly on the floor with a non-finish is Shane Douglas nailing Pillman. Pillman needing help to the back from some enhancement talents, and the wars between the two are there. Jim Ross basically trying to get us to buy Halloween Havoc is up next. Not a big surprise because, well, it's a pay-per-view, and they've added, I think, 8 to the schedule in the year 1992. Imagine that. Non-monthly pay-per-views. Robbie Walker and the Z-Man in an enhancement matchup next. Not exactly something to write home about here. Couple enhancement guys. And they're trying to push Walker as something special. Of course, he's teamed with Douglas previously. Some double team maneuvers from him and the Z-Man get things going in accordance to plan. Back elbows by the Z-Man, trying to get everything going there. And, it's there. And, everything comes together. And a tag off to Bobby Walker. It's clear that they're trying to push Walker. I think he might have actually been one of the first WCW Power Plant graduates. I know they were starting the Power Plant around the time, even if the commercials aren't there for it. Walker with a lumbering clothesline that doesn't look too terribly enticing for people that are interested in that sort of thing, but it gets the job done. Roll up, roll through by Walker. Walker tries to get every advantage he possibly can with varying degrees of success, getting the roll up and eventually getting the victory. Win for the Z-Man and Bobby Walker coming forward. Then we see a promo with Dustin Rhodes and Barry Windham. Windham cuts Rhodes off, doesn't really let him talk. There's dissension between the team, but the turn has not happened yet. Basically, Windham says that he doesn't have to answer reporter questions. Reporters, like Jim Ross, are always trying to get into, some degree of into their business too much. Rick Rude out next, sans Paulie dangerously, but with Medusa against Tommy Angel. Rude still your U.S. champion, still in the midst of a feud with Nikita Koloff. Over the next couple of weeks, we will see that there are multiple contracts signed for Rick Rude. One for U.S. title match with Nikita Koloff at Halloween Havoc. The second for an NWA title match with Masahiro Chono, also at Halloween Havoc. And there's dissension that comes with that, but we'll unroll that as it happens. Rude with a couple of body slams and obviously doing the swiveling the hips deal. He's not happy with that. Hard shots there and attempted clotheslines. Not exactly a good place to be. Atomic drop and a roll up, roll through. And ultimately, kind of Rude sits down on a chin lock. Not exactly the most enticing of things. Rude then manages to hit the Rude Awakening and get it. And Bill Watts comes out, lets him know that in fact he must defend or fight twice and have 2 championship matches at the Halloween Havoc due to the contract negotiations. Barbarian out next with Cactus Jack. Cactus returning to managing this week, a bit goofy that as it is. I don't really understand the concept of Cactus Jack being used as a manager in this time period, but it is what it is. Larry Santo, the opponent, the unfortunate opponent for Tony Atlas. I don't know. Oh, I saw the Barbarian coming out, and I will grab my phone and return momentarily for those interested. Certainly the Barbarian and Tony Atlas seems like a weird team. Tony Atlas coming in here seems more like Bill Watts trying to recapture past glory than it does Tony Atlas really being a guy that needs to be brought in. Larry Santo, one of the enhancement talents, takes a vicious suplex from Atlas. Not to say that Tony Atlas didn't have value at this point, but certainly he's wearing very interesting looking gear. Interesting, not in a good way either. And also, he's kind of sort of getting to a place where, in fact, backdrop suplexes and basic stuff, he needs to find a new place to be in the grand scheme of things. Full Nelson by Atlas, and again, hard shots along the way. Um, that's there, and um, you know, uh, Ron Simmons out. He's talking about winning the championship match at Halloween Havoc. He's not going to let the fans down, not going to let himself down, and going to prove that he belongs on top. Not intimidated by the Barbarian. Respects his strength, but not intimidated by any stretch. Bill Watts' son Eric is in an enhancement match up next. And Eric Watts, talk about an overpushed individual. Hard for Watts to be in the position. Obviously, collegiate style wrestler, having a lot of sports background, including football. Basic takedowns and the like. Hard for Watts because he's pushed pretty intently from the beginning, and that is hard to be in that position. Irish whips and shoulder tackles by the enhancement talent. Doesn't get all he wants. Japanese arm drag, oddly enough, by Eric Watts, and an awkward drop kick. Drop kicking is not one of Eric Watts' best or most used or most favorite skills, apparently, because he barely gets off the ground with these. Cactus Jack in a promo breaks a cinder block over the back of the Barbarian, and he says the Barbarian is tougher than just about anybody. Then we go to an empty arena promo series with Paul Heyman, aka Paulie Dangerously, who all but says that he has everything necessary. He founded the Dangerous Alliance. Doesn't really matter what anybody has to say. He is still in control of the contracts, options for contracts on Steve Austin, Bobby Eaton, Arn Anderson, and of course Rick Rude. Dissension with Rude is brought forward in the weeks to come. He's annoyed with Schiavone for asking questions that he feels are meant to paint him in a negative light. That is not Schiavone's particular ultimate approach to things or his desire, but that is how Heyman takes it, and that goes kind of sideways, obviously, as we continue the foray there. Vinny Vegas manages to get in a match with the up-and-coming and well-pushed Marcus Alexander Bagwell. Not a match to write home about. Punches, kicks, basic stuff. Vinny Vegas with the black tights and slams Bagwell, launches him across the ring. How they couldn't find something for Vinny Vegas to do in 1992 that was better than these matches, I don't understand. I know a lot of people say that Nash was never great in the ring, and that is true. But a guy 7 foot with the charisma of Nash could easily be doing something meaningful, but at the same time, his sleeper holds certainly here in 1992 did need a little bit of work. Vinny Vegas does hit the snake eyes, gets the victory, and away we go. We then go to a tag team match, or actually a clip of a match where Steve Austin runs in on and gets after the benefit of Steve Austin. Steve Austin and Scott Steiner are going at things here, and the eventual Hollywood Blondes lay out their opponents for the given moment. They kind of are hyping the issues with the Steiners. We see a backstage segment where the excitement is to throw a Halloween Havoc watch party. That's what they're trying to get people to do. I don't know that continues very well. Rick Rude is brought out next with some degree of conjecture, as he is now told that he is contractually obligated to wrestle not once but twice at Halloween Havoc, both in championship matches. We mentioned that earlier in the program, but that's there. Steve Austin and Scott Steiner are there. We also did see clips of Steiner winning the television championship here, and ultimately Austin, former television champion, I guess, in line for a rematch. Some brawling, basic stuff put forward. We get about 9 minutes left in the program. Austin showing good fire, good interest in approving himself, so to speak. Meanwhile, Austin goes to the outside, Steiner overpowering him. Austin, for lack of a better term, runs away. Steiner tries to shoot a half, gets a three-quarter roll through, and gets that handled there. And then we see Steiner, who, for lack of a better term, manages to, get some ride time, hooks Austin up and over, doesn't really get all he wants out of it, but gets enough. Steiner with a good bit of ride time on Austin here. Austin gets back to a vertical base, driving the shoulder into the midsection of Steiner, and that leads to a boot under the chin and a belly-to-belly suplex by Scott Steiner with about 2 minutes left in the program. Austin and Steiner actually much better than expected. Austin ducks out of the way as Steiner is hurtling himself as a weapon at Austin, and then they go brawling on the outside for a few seconds. Austin comes back in and hits a hard shot right between the eyes, and meanwhile, the continuing pin attempts by Austin, former television champion here, and kind of just an interesting run. The match runs out of time, and we are done with WCW Saturday Night without a winner in that particular one. So maybe there's a little bit of hype surrounding the idea of Steve Austin going back to the television title ranks. Don't really know, but we'll be back with more right after this.